I'm Paul Levinson, and welcome to Light On, Light Through, episode 199. My review of the 6th episode of Foundation, now streaming on Apple TV+. Well, the first 3-hour part of the Dune movie debuted on HBO Max last night. But of course I watched the latest episode of Foundation first. And I was greeted by something straight out of Dune: interstellar travel via the folding of space. In Dune, this is done by members of the Space Guild, a strange group of people who have the power to bend space and make it relatively easy. Not for them, the people who do the bending, but for everyone else who does the interstellar, super-fast space traveling in Dune. In Foundation, however, the Foundation TV series, the folding is done by spacers. That's a nod to Isaac Asimov, in which people who went to space in Asimov's original robot novels were called spacers. Anyway, Brother Day travels via folded space to a distant world. I thought the more interesting action, however, and I expect the more ultimately important, took place back on Trantor. Brother Dawn, now a young man, differs from his clonal twins. He's a better shot than Brother Dusk ever was, and Dawn is colorblind. Now, colorblindness is usually the result of genetics. If that's the cause of Dawn's inability to see red, that means something went wrong with the oft-used duplication processes that have gotten the clones this far, duplicated so many times. Now, certain drugs can also cause color blindness, and if that's the cause of Dawn's faulty vision, the big question is, who caused it? A genetic cause would implicate the robot Demerzel. I don't particularly like her, by the way, I'm just saying. She's much less appealing than the male Demerzel in the Asimov's novels. Not the actress's fault, just the way the part is sketched out. Anyway, an environmental cause could be due to anyone in Dawn's vicinity once he came out of that tube. Now, Dawn also seems to be in love with the lovely gardener. In Asimov's novel, you may recall, a gardener kills the Emperor, much to young Harry Seldon's horror, but the gardener there was a muttering old man, an individual who slipped through the lines of Harry's predictions, teaching Harry a very important lesson. Will the young, lithe gardener do the same to Brother Dawn? Well, I hope not. I think they make a nice couple. But I'm going to keep an eye on her. And speaking of Harry, well, of course, we learned nothing more about what we saw at the end of last week's episode, but I'm getting used to that. We do see that Harry planned the stabbing with a very reluctant Rach. But everyone and their favorite grandparent surely guessed that already. All right, I'll be watching and reviewing right here those first 3 hours of Dune very soon in the next day or two. So if I don't see you then, or maybe better if you don't hear me then, I'll see you next week with my review of Foundation 1.7.
The Light on Light Through podcast.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little review of the 6th episode of Foundation. Again, this is episode 199 of Light on Light Through. That means that the next episode will be my 200th episode 200. I have some special surprises planned for that episode. It will very likely be a review of Dune. I mean, something could come up in the next hour, something could come up in the next minute, but I expect it to be Dune. By the way, if you are a podcaster or you're doing anything that you'd like to promote, you can contact me on Twitter. Follow me, I'll follow you, and we can send each other direct messages that way. DM me if you'd like to congratulate me for my 200th podcast here of Light On, Light Through. And in your congratulations, you can promote your own podcast or whatever you're doing. Just send me a 30-second MP3, and I'll put it into the 200th episode. And if for some reason you don't hear this until the 200th episode is posted, you can still send me your congratulations. I'll put it into the 201st episode. And by the way, as I said in some of my previous episodes, this is a fabulous fall for television and science fiction in particular. So what you're going to be hearing from me in the weeks and months ahead, starting with my review of the first part of Dune, I'll certainly be reviewing every other Foundation episode. I'll also be starting to review very soon a new series on Apple TV Plus, Invasion. Dexter is coming back to Showtime. Hey, you know what? Curb Your Enthusiasm is going to be on HBO in a couple of days. I don't usually review comedies, but I may just review that as well here. Anyway, so there should be a lot of exciting podcasts coming up in the weeks and months ahead. I hope all of you tune in. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, and enjoy.
Athens, 2042 AD. She ripped the paper in half, then ripped the halves, then ripped what was left again into bits and pieces of history that could have been. Sierra Waters had read once that, years ago, it was thought that men made love for the thrill, while women made love for the sense of connection it gave them.
Curled Up with a Good Book says, Sierra Waters is sexy as hell. You can find out more about The Plot to Save Socrates by Paul Levinson at theplottoSaveSocrates.com.
Paul Levinson's Silk Code, about an ancient biotech war raging on in secret for centuries.